Fuck the system.
Okay, so like 2 Fridays ago, I know that had to be an entity walking down the street. And the funny thing was, I was actually asking for another like physical 3D encounter. And, you know, like previous to that. And so it wasn't yesterday, it was the Friday before that. That, I had like went to Walmart after work, and then I was going the other direction to go home. And then I was thinking I was going home, and then I thought, oh, I forgot, I need to go back to work to get my food. So then I went on down, so then I didn't make my turn off to go home. I went on down the street, and then lo and behold, I saw this weird looking thing walking down the street. And I mean, when these like entities appear to me, they're very, very, very scary. I haven't talked about all of them yet, but they're like very, very, very scary, and it's like you don't really want to like approach them or anything. But man, I don't know why I didn't. I think I had my cell phone on me. I mean, I don't know why I didn't. Well, I mean, because naturally when you see something like that, you automatically think it's human. And now I know that that thing couldn't have been human. It was just another reptilian posing as this scary ass looking human. Interdimensional reptilian. Posing as scary ass looking human. Okay, so first of all, he was real disgusting looking. He had like this black, long, and this was like, what time was it? It was still light out and everything. It was about 7 o'clock. But it was still light out and everything. And so he had like this black cape looking coat on or whatever. And he had this long, black, stringy, greasy ass looking hair. And he had like a black hat on. And it seemed like he was fiddling with a phone or something, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so as I was going down the street, that's when all of a sudden I looked over to my left and I see this nasty looking thing walking down the street. But of course I thought it was, human at the time. Until I started thinking about it, and I think I started thinking about it right after I left work. Okay, so, I started thinking about it right as I passed him. But I don't know why I didn't just keep staring at him just to see when he disappeared. But I didn't. But yeah, I started thinking about how he could have been an entity not long after I noticed him. And so anyway, okay, now here's the funny part. As far as I remember, he had some kind of boots on. But here's the funny part. Okay, and I've never seen any disabled human ever walk like this. So that's how you know, if they're really weird looking like that. And then all of a sudden you realize, they kind of disappear fast or whatever. And sometimes you're probably not going to really notice that. But I noticed it several times when these beings, well, actually, once you know what they are and everything, then you could just start, then you know what to do. Once you realize you're seeing like some interdimensional thing, just keep staring at it until they just disappear. And so anyway, so here's the funny part. Okay, he was walking as if both his legs from the knee down, or a little bit shorter than that, the knee down, like he was walking like as if he had two prosthetic legs. He was walking that weird and that retarded. And I've never even seen any disabled human walk like that with any prosthetic legs. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was walking like he had, like, I don't know, two of them. And like he was crippled up just from the knees down, like he had two fake prosthetic legs. Just that part of the leg, about 8 inches on each leg, prosthetic. And so he was walking like, like his legs were crooked as he was, they were bent in and crooked as he was walking, because, it's like they were like prosthetic legs or something. But anyway, he was real scary and fucking, scary looking, of course. Okay, so anyway, so when I went to work, which I would have got to work just a few minutes after that, after I passed him and everything, and I did keep looking in the rear view mirror. And I still kept seeing him for several seconds. So then that's why I kept thinking, okay, well, maybe it's not an entity. But the thing is, these entities, they can, appear for many, 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 many minutes. So that had nothing to do with anything. I don't even know why I would think that. Because, by the time I saw him and by the time I passed him, only several seconds passed. But for whatever stupid reason, I guess I kept convincing myself that it wasn't an entity. Okay, so then I went to work, and then I got my food, and I came back down the street, and then, of course, he was nowhere to be found. And actually, by the time I passed him, went to work and got my food, that wouldn't have been very minutes that passed at all, because my workplace was right down the street. And it only took me a second to go in and get my food and then to drive back down the street. If anything, he should have still been walking down. He should have been, he should have turned the corner already and been walking down either. Anyway, I still should have seen him, you know what I mean? When I went back home, I still should have easily seen him, most likely, because he would have still been walking down the street or up the other part of the street. But anyway, I still think it was an entity. And the funny thing is, like I say, I was asking for a physical, encounter, but they're freaking scary, man, when they appear to me like that. Yeah, I have some other stories to tell too, but I haven't told those yet, about some other beings that I've met, or that they appeared. But like I say, mine, they've only interacted with me, okay, that one time at Price Cutter, and then Anthony, Oh, and then another time when I was 10 years old. So yeah, sometimes about 30% of the time they'll interact with me. 70% of the time they won't. And when they interact with you, of course, they're not scary. Oh yeah, and then the black dude that came into work. Oh yeah. He interacted with me, of course. He wasn't scary at all. So if they interact with you, they're not going to be scary. But if they like don't interact with you and just show themselves kind of from a distance, they're normally just scary as shit. Well, at least that one guy, he wasn't showing himself at a distance when he was stalking me at the gym. He was pretty much in my face, but still, he didn't interact with me, but he was still scary as shit. And then now I realize he totally was an interdimensional reptilian. And he disappeared for about 45 minutes and then reappeared and stalked me some more. But that story's on here. That was back in 2004. But yeah, this entity was freaking creepy as heck. And like I say, they always appear human or half human or just this retarded looking thing or ugly looking thing. Except Anthony, Anthony wasn't that ugly. But the other story I haven't talked about yet, he was pretty hideous looking, but I wasn't exactly scared of him. I didn't talk about that. That was not long after Anthony had appeared to me. I think it was him in a different form. It was very possible, but that time he kind of appeared kind of really ugly. But anyway, I haven't talked about that yet. But that, like I say, that was because Anthony appeared. The last time he appeared at the bookstore was March 30th, a couple years ago or whatever. Then it was early June. I believe he reappeared at the grocery store up the street and interacted with me and my mom for about 30 minutes. And but I haven't talked about that yet. But okay, so anyway, I've been having lots of awesome, fun, lucid dreams and stuff. This was kind of funny because I wasn't asking for an experience or anything, but this was like about 5 days ago. I conked out on the day bed, and this was in the evening time, like a work night or whatever. And what time was it? About 10? No. I conked out from like 8. Oh yeah, I conked out on the day bed from 8:30 to 10:30. And I started sleeping like really, really good, like deep. Not deep, but deep enough to where it puts you in the reptilian realm. So then, boom. I don't know if it was Joel that gave me this experience. I mean, he gives me a lot of sexual experiences, so I don't know if it was him or another reptilian being, because a lot of them are perverts. So anyway, it was just kind of funny. So I fell into that proper sleep. Oh my God, that perfect. I mean, I was sleeping really good when I fell asleep. And then boom, like I say, I dozed off into reptilian realm. And so one of the beings, well, what they do is I don't think it's necessarily, them like 100% just posing as the person and then having sex with you, or they're just, creating an exact replica of that person, and then it's just like a virtual reality type of thing. I guess it could be either or. But anyway, so he created the scenario, whatever being created the scenario, but it's like too personal to talk about. But so I wasn't at home. I was at this other, when I was in this, when I was in the room or whatever, I was in another building. And yeah, it's kind of comical, but like I said, I can't really talk about it because it's too personal. Okay, but then he put a person in my scenario that I knew, of course, they always do that. And then the person started having sex with me. And, but after I woke up, I was like, are you kidding me? But I wasn't asking for any experiences or anything. But it was just kind of funny. But like I said, I don't necessarily think, it's no, I mean, um, I kind of know when it's really them, you know, literally them just posing as the other person and having sex with you, or if it's just more like a virtual reality type of thing where they're just putting an exact replica, exact personality and everything, and then the person starts having sex with you. I pretty much know the difference. In this particular time, I think it was just, I don't necessarily think the reptilian was posing as that other person, but he just created the virtual reality, you know, that part, making an exact replica or whatever, exact personality and everything. It's amazing what they do. Totally amazing. But, oh yeah, and then there was another lucid dream a couple days ago. Oh my god, it was, okay, this lucid dream lasted for days, at least a couple days, 2 or 3 days. But, and of course they were sticking me in, you know, like hotel, motel rooms, airports. So I was in a hotel room, we were going back and forth, like going to eat at the buffet, and I ended up in an airport. But anyway, it was long. Okay, and then, but in this scenario, you know, I had sex about 5 times, or like 5 people had sex with me, so to speak. And of course, I knew all of them, but one of the person was like a man, and he was, I'm trying to remember who he was. He was somebody that my sister knew many years ago, because I think they came up to Kansas City that one time when I still lived in Kansas City, but I can't think of his name. But yeah, they always put whatever's in your brain, you know, they'll put that person in your scenario. They'll make them like have sex with you or whatever. It's kind of hilarious. I mean, it's amazing what they could do. And it's just so freaking fun, you know? So fun and real. But then there was another lucid dream after that. I was in another hotel, you know, a long drawn out scenario, back and forth from a hotel room and stuff. But, well, that one escapes me right at the moment. But yeah, they're always sticking me in hotel rooms and crap, airports. But like I say, that particular lucid dream where I had sex about 5 times, and the big, it was like either a queen or a king bed. That freaking scenario was like, it seemed to last 2 or 3 days, but of course it didn't. But that's what it felt like. That's why it's really hard to talk about some of these lucid dreams, because, I mean, it's literally just like right now. Okay, going down the hallway, picking up your bags, driving to the airport, you know, staying a night at the airport. Okay, and then you're in England, and then you have some sex with some people in the bed. And I mean, it's literally like that. It's very hard to talk about when it lasts days like that, when it seems to last days like that. It's very hard to talk about an experience like that. So you can just, you know what I'm saying, because it would take too long. But it was such a blast. Okay, but this experience that I was going to talk about, okay, when was this? Oh crap, when was this? Oh, okay, April 7th. Okay, I didn't know if I put the date on there. Okay, let me see. And of course, I'm sure there's you know, some small pieces that I've, you know, because this is a pretty long lucid dream as well, and I'm sure there's some pieces, but it would just be boring pieces that, you know, I forgot or whatever, but I remember most everything. Okay, so basically, at the beginning of the scenario, now this was like, you know, lucid dream, out-of-body experience in the lucid dream. And I talk about the differences in that other video. I talk about the differences, at least my differences from my experiences, you know, with all those altered states. But some of my experiences are 3 or 4 of the above. It's an out-of-body experience, virtual reality, and it's lucid dreaming. And sometimes they're just purely out-of-body experience, virtual reality, not lucid dreaming. Okay, so this experience, at the beginning of the experience, Okay, the aliens show me this huge ass freaking mansion, and this experience, it was my grandma's mansion. And there's another scenario too recently before that I never talked about because it was just, it was just, it was too hard to remember everything. But they showed me my grandma's mansion, and this was, or that particular time, it was just all long. It was long, one story, but it was like a mile long. That's what they showed me before, my grandma's mansion. Okay, well, this time they stick me in her mansion again. Well, this time it was like freaking huge, but it had many levels. I'm not sure how many floors, but they did show me what it looked like. But it was a different one this time, and it was my grandma's mansion. And I don't know what their deal is, but they're always sticking me in mansions, and lots of times, it's actually my mansion. Like either I bought it or something like that. And it's just scenarios that they create for me and program in my head. But this particular mansion, I didn't buy. It was my grandma's mansion. Okay, so anyway, at the beginning, we were on the top. We were on like what appeared to, or what felt like to me was just one of the ground level floors. We were on the ground level, and so after the alien showed me an image of the mansion, of my grandma's mansion. Okay, then all of a sudden I sit there. Well, actually, I'm standing there with a bunch of people around a table. Some of my relatives. And some people that were kind of familiar to me, but I can't remember who they were right now. They were adults, 50s, late 50s or whatever. So it's like we were about to eat, or we were eating, or they were eating, but I was standing up. Okay, so like they were eating, I was standing up, and we were on the ground floor of the mansion. And I was trying to like show them, like, look what I could do. And I started taking a spoon and started like making it all like melt and ethereally, almost like in the Matrix movie. I was doing that to them to try to get their attention, but they didn't seem to really be interested as far as I remember. So that kind of bothered me. Okay, so then I started doing that like with my mind with the physical spoon. Like it became all like ethereal, and it started bending and melting. But they, like I say, the people that were sitting there eating their lunch or whatever, I think it was lunch, they didn't really seem to care. Okay, so then I started to like, instead of like being on my back like that, I was on my stomach. I started to like swing my hands out, my arms out, and then I started floating on my stomach. So I started waving like both my arms out, and then I started floating on my stomach. Like, look what I could do. Like, I'm weightless now. I'm weightless. I'm, what's that word? I'm levitating. Basically, I was showing them that I could levitate and be weightless. That's what I was showing them. And as far as I remember, some of them did look at me. But as far as I remember, they acted like they didn't really seem to pay attention to me. I could be wrong, but like I say, this lucid dream, my lucid dreams lately, they still were like a blast and stuff, but they weren't like A+ experiences. Well, this one would be more like a B-. But like that one experience I talked about, that was freaking A+, man. And the funny thing is, whatever I ask for, they give me, because I was telling them, no, give me something that's like super duper clear, where I remember every single little teeny tiny detail. And then they give me that experience where I bought this like timeshare on a resort in a tropical place, but they didn't tell me where I was at. That experience is on here. That was freaking A+ experience. It was so weird. But then I've been having a lot of lucid dreams lately, and they've been more like B-, C+. Okay, so I started doing that. And levitating, basically. I just like, but then I started floating. I was floating about, 4 feet off the ground. And I was just like floating, levitating myself. I had that ability to do that, under this experience. But I was trying to like show off, but they didn't seem to really care that I had that ability. And okay, so anyway, Okay, so after that, and like I say, I did actually, for whatever reason, I was thinking about the Matrix movie and all that, like previously to this. So that's why the aliens copied that and put that in my scenario. Okay, but anyway, so after that, okay, the aliens do this a lot. They make me go down in basements, and sometimes I never make it to the basement, and sometimes I do, and sometimes it's just in the scenario. I keep thinking, okay, when am I going to go down into the basement, and then I never end up getting down there. And sometimes I clearly am, I do go into the basement or whatever. And sometimes I've actually been in a basement several times. And I'm thinking, even when I'm walking around the scenario, I'm thinking the aliens have placed me here many, many times before. And then after I wake up, well, I remember before I was attuned to all this, I used to think that really wasn't true. But now I know it is really true. They've given me the exact same. They've duplicated the exact same shit, or little parts, the exact same thing. They've duplicated before in my scenarios. And I know that is true, 100% true. Now, so me and my sister, for whatever reason, I told her that we need to go down into the basement because I wanted to show her this closet, this big, big, big closet, it's a big closet. It was in the middle of the basement, a big, big, big closet that was closed off. I mean, this was a pretty big closet, 20 feet, maybe not 20 feet wide. It was more horizontal, like 22, I don't know, but a pretty long closet, pretty wide closet, full of toys, like little children's outfits are full of toys, outfits, and stuffed animals. Okay, I wanted to show her that because it was like previous to my grandma buying it, the previous owners left all of that. For whatever reason, they accidentally left all of that in the closet, and my grandmother had no desire to really go down there, in the creepy basement to look at all that. So that's why me and my sister, that's why I told her, let's go down into the basement. Okay, so we were so we were in the basement, one floor. I mean, not in the basement. We were on. As I was walking down the steps to go down into the basement. Okay, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, so me and my sister. Okay, at one point I was stopped right there in the stairwell, and like I say, this was all concrete. I mean, all encased with concrete, and so I was in the stairwell. And me and my sister were just standing there, and I was like, okay, hey, we have two more floors to go, and we had already climbed down. It was at least, and this is just a thing that they already put in my brain to know. We had already, even though I in the scenario I don't actually remember walking down 20 flights of stairs, but we had already walked down 20 flights of freaking floors to the basement, and every single floor, like I say, was just all concrete stairwell, concrete, and my sister acted like she was getting tired, and I was like, Chrissy, come on, we just have 2 more flights of stairs to go down before we hit the basement. And like I say, I was already envisioning, what the little area. I already knew what it looked like because I had already been down there before. And even in the scenario, I was thinking, okay, I knew they placed that in my scenario many, many times before. That same closet with a lot of toys and stuffed animals, they've done that before. And I even knew that in the scenario. But anyway, when we were stopped at the stairwell, it was huge, encased with all concrete. We had already walked down 20 flights of stairs. And so me and my sister, we were stalled, I guess because she got tired. It seemed like she got tired or something. So I was like, okay, come on, we just have 2 more flights of stairs to go. And I knew that. I knew we only had 2 more flights of, concrete stairwells to go. We had already walked down 20 flights of stairs. And then, okay, all of a sudden, my sister, like, she walked over into another part of the floor off of the stairwell. Yeah, she walked over, but like I say, at that point we were still, we were underground. Like I say, that first part of the scenario, we were on level ground, and then all the other time, as we started to go down into the basement, we were underground. And anyway, so when my sister appeared to get tired, she walked over. Anyway, there was another area, concrete area over off of the stairwell, and she started walking over in that creepy ass area. So I started walking over towards her, and let's see, how did it go? All of a sudden, she like, oh, what did she say? Oh yeah, all of a sudden, she said something like, she said she was scared, and she said that she saw. Yeah, she said that she was scared. So anyway, she did not want to go 2 more flights of stairs because she said that she was scared, and she said that she saw a pair of twins. She said she saw a pair of male ghosts, and they had like a white or black little bandana thing on around their neck. And these black men, okay, when she said that, I already envisioned exactly what they look like, and they look like about 65-year-old men, black men, with it was either white or black bandana around their neck. And so I had already envisioned that when she told me that she saw a couple pairs of 2 black man ghosts, and that's why she did not want to go down into the basement. But like I said, we had already been underground 20 flights of stairs, and we only had 2 more stairs to go. Okay, so, or 2 more flights of stairs to go to get to the closet, because that's what I wanted to show her, the little closet of toys and stuffed animals, and children's outfits and shit. Okay, so then, after she told me all of that, I envisioned what the black men look like I all of a sudden started seeing what they look like, and then boom, my sister disappeared. And then that's when I started to get scared myself, because I was just like, okay, I'm in this creepy ass concrete, underground concrete, stairwell off on this floor. I don't know where the heck I'm at, you know what I'm saying? And but it was just creepy. It was creepy as hell. I think I already said that, but it was just creepy as hell. And I don't know, they have ability to do that, make your scenario really creepy, or however they want to make it, they could do it. And this scenario was very, very creepy. And that's another thing that they do a lot, is they put black people in my scenarios, and they also leave me abandoned. They do that a lot. They leave me abandoned. And so when my sister disappeared, I was like all scared, and then I started running back up the stairs trying to find her. And I never found my sister. And we never did go down 2 more flights of stairs into the basement. But like I said, we were already underground 20 flights of stairs. We just had 2 more to go. And like I say, they put that in my scenario many, many times. Going down to the basement and, and walking through, closet. Or, they've done that many, many, many times. Many times. Closets. Not closets. They put closets and basements. They love to put basements in my scenarios and closets. But yeah, it's very interesting. But anyway, I thought that was kind of a fun experience. But like I say, this particular scenario, my grandma's mansion was very, very tall as it was wide. It had many floors to it. It wasn't just 1 mile long like that first mansion they showed me in that other scenario. But that one wasn't. That one wasn't even clear enough to talk about. I can't even remember that one too much. But I remember standing in the kitchen and with my relatives, and then I don't remember much after that. But this scenario was pretty fun. But like I say, it still wasn't a plus experience, but I'll take what I could get. But let me see if I talked about everything. Aliens kept repeating. Oh, yeah. Okay, my sister saw a pair of black man ghosts to the creepy concrete basement. But like I say, it was just creepy as hell, man. In that big, huge... Every single stairwell was freaking concrete. It was just creepy as hell. And, but anyway, like I say, they do that a lot. They make me go down into basements, creepy ass basements, where I'm already creeped out before I even, go there or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, these scenarios, man, I mean, but even though they're creepy, I mean, they're still a blast. They still feel like you're in another dimension. Lots of times they feel like you're in another dimension. And they're a blast. And then sometimes, if they're a real shitty experience, you may not have that feeling. Like, oh, I feel like I'm in another dimension or whatever. But most of my lucid dreams, I do feel like I'm in another dimension, no matter if it's creepy or not creepy. And then sometimes it just kind of feels like normal 3D energy. And after you wake up, you can't really say, oh, I felt like I was in a different dimension. Because it just felt like 3D. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, thanks for listening.